Oh, this is weird. You get to just like see Inception. Hi, everybody. This is, what do we got? OBS. This is my recording software. But somebody requested my GAC planner. And it needed a little bit of cleaning up anyways, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to clean it up and to share it with the world. So if you're interested in how I plan GAC, and if you're interested in planning your GAC similarly, you might want to use this planner, and it's free. I'm not selling it or anything. I'm going to give you a link. Look down in the description. I'm going to put the link in the description to a Google Drive document. Anybody can view it, but only I can edit it. So you'll have to go to the link and then just download it, and then you can do whatever you want after that. But I'm going to show you how it works. It's really simple. And yeah, you can use it whenever you want. And so without further ado, here we are. So this is something that I do almost every GAC when I need to plan, and it's mostly for understanding what teams I have available to me, what teams I want to use, etc., etc. So let me just create a copy so I can kind of clear this out real quick. There won't be a copy in your version, but I'm just going to clear it so that I can kind of give you a good idea of what's going on here and how it looks when it's fresh, and like where you might want to kind of start from. So there's going to be a 5v5 tab and there's going to be a 3v3 tab. The only difference is that in 5v5 I have some of these grayed out. You still can do whatever you want to them, but these teams are not available in 5v5. 3v3 has more of this, and also this is set up for Kyber, but again, you can edit it however you want it. So like if you're in a Rhodium and there's one less team up here, well, you can either just leave it blank, or you can make it, where's the dark gray? You can just make it dark gray too, and then, ignore it, whatever, right? But this is currently set up for Kyber. I have a feeling if you're as much of a tryhard as me, you're probably in Kyber anyways, or you're on your way there. But so what's the point of this sheet? How does it work? So the enemy, there's no conditional formatting. Like it's a free field. You can just put whatever you want there. This is where I would say, he's got Jabba, he's got Rey, he's got Leia, and this is for, see, these are the four zones, right? Top front, top back, bottom front, bottom back, right? So you can put their teams where they are, and then you can plan out your attacks. Now, for those of you who don't know, you can go to this website, swh.gg, and you can, it doesn't like me because I've got data validation there, but you can go to this website and you can look up your opponent using their ally code. And when you look at their GAC history, you can see what they typically set on defense in the past, right? And so that's what I do. I go under the assumption that they haven't changed their defense. And you kind of need to be intelligent about it, right? Like, look at their defense for the past, 6 rounds or something like that. If they never changed their defense in 6 rounds, they probably didn't change their defense this time, right? So you can just kind of be sensible. And either way, it gives you an idea. Even if they shifted around, gives you an idea of where they might put things or just what they put on defense in general, right? But this doesn't do anything anywhere else in the spreadsheet other than it gives you something to pay attention to and kind of help you plan. Okay, so the next part that matters is you need to fill in column P with the teams that you have. This is freeform, gibberish, right? You can do whatever you want over here. But what you put over here is going to dictate what's available to you in your drop downs, right? So you see the first one is bounty hunters. That's because it's the first one in the list. If I rename this to Jabba is fat, when I click on this drop down, you're going to see that my first option is now Jabba is fat, but we're not going to do that because Jabba's not fat. He's just big boned. So you come over here, and the way I have it set up, you don't have to do this. It's just how I did it. I put ground squads up top, and then I leave a big old gap, and then I put the fleets down below just because it makes my brain, it makes it easier for my brain. And it lets me know when I'm going through here, I just look for the big gap and I know all my fleets are at the bottom. So that's just how I've got it set up. But again, you can put anything you want here. Like you can see, instead of Queen Amidala, I put QA and friends. Or specifically for the most recent GACs, I put JML with Plokron, JMK with ETHCron. whatever. Call it whatever you want. Whatever teams you have available. Now, this is for offense and defense. All of the teams that you could realistically use in GAC, just put their names here. Whatever names makes the most sense to you, right? Every single thing that you put in this list is going to become an option in all of your drop downs. And now this is the whole point of the spreadsheet, is keeping track of what you plan on doing. So for me, this is where I would start saying, okay, I'm going to click my drop down, and I think I'm going to use Slicker on Java. When I fill out these drop downs, when I put an item in these drop downs, you will now see that it shows as not available. In column Q, it's the column that says whether it's available or not. This is looking for anywhere that Slicker is, let me see, here. It's looking for SLKR to pop up in any of these locations. If you put it here, if you put it here, if you put it here, it's going to mark it off down here, right? So as soon as I put Slicker there, it says, hey, Slicker's not available. Okay, fine. For Ray, I'm going to put Star Killer. And oh, by the way, you can also just take them from over here. So if I was to say Leia, I'm going to do JML with Plocron, you can just copy it from here, and then you can paste it over here. It's going to do the same thing. The only thing that this drop down does is it'll yell at you if you try to put something here that's not in this list. And that's for a very specific reason. It's so that this thing functions. But if I just put, gosh, what do I call my Geonosians? I literally call them Geonosians. So if I said Geos instead and I hit enter, it's going to yell at me and it's going to say, hey, that's not something in this list, so you can't do that, right? And the whole point of that is because the only way this list knows how to find these things is if the names over here match the names in the list, right? So everything you put in this list is going to show up as an option for all of your drop downs, right? And now something I like to do if things don't work out, this just happened in my last 5v5. I failed with SLKR on Java, right? So I said, well, dang, okay, I'm going to get rid of Slicker here, and I'm going to put Slicker down here. So that way Slicker is no longer available because I lost him. I can't use him anymore. But he's not up here. I didn't use him to take out Java. I need to put him somewhere. So I put him in this failed attacks section. Hopefully, you don't have a lot of failed attacks. But you can put any of these over here to kind of mark them off over here. And then I might come back in and say, you know what, let me try this again with JMK with ETHCron, right? And so now even though there's 3 teams here, there's 4 marked off because Slicker was failed, right? So that's another thing you can do. And then I have something built in. I could probably make this a little bit more foolproof, but I think it stands out enough when you try to look for it. So let's say, God, I don't know why someone would put bounty, right? Bounty hunters on defense or something like that. And I said, well, you know what? I've got Slicker left. Let me use Slicker. Boom. This pops a bright red, right? Anytime there is a number greater than 1 here, it pops a bright red, which indicates, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, right? I already use Slicker. Slicker is not an option. If you try to put the same person in 2 places, it's going to yell at you over here. It's not going to stop you from doing it. That's the part that, you know, maybe I could improve one day. But as of right now, I do that so that, you know, it's easy to get lost in the planning. And I might say, you know what, I think, you know, I plan out my attacks and then I say, you know what, I think I want to put JMK on my front wall. And then before I do this, I look over here and I go, uh-oh. Wait, why do I have JMK twice? And then you say, oh, I'm trying to attack with him, but I'm also trying to defend with him, right? But really, that's the core of this spreadsheet, is just don't touch these formulas. Don't touch these formulas. Don't do anything over here. I should have probably just hidden these, but I don't know. If it's a formula, don't touch it. If you do, that's on you. If you're good with Excel, you can probably improve this a little bit, but this works for me. And so, yeah, so if I was you, you know, I would maybe come in here and I would say, you know, get rid of all these ground squads. I have team A, I have team B, I have team C, I have team D, you know, whatever, all these teams. And I say, well, I want team A to defend here. I want team B to defend here. I'm going to attack with team C here. And you can see that it's finding them and it's saying, okay, you've used it, blah, 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 blah. So this just helps, you know, plan for GAC. It makes sure that you don't try to use the same team twice, et cetera, et cetera. I hope that's intuitive. I hope that's helpful. The 3v3 sheet, it's exactly the same way. You can put whatever teams you want here. It'll impact the drop downs that are available to you over here. And anytime you put something in here using a drop down, it'll mark it off over here. It's as simple as that. So yeah, this is how I go about planning my GACs. I scout my enemies, I put all their teams here, and then I try to figure out, you know, how am I going to do this, right? And so this is a good example of what I literally did last time. This is actually how my last 3v3 played out, okay? So let's get rid of this and let's put this here. I was going through my planning, and this was my original plan. And that's why I have fleets filled out here, because I thought I was going to get through this top wall, but I didn't. I failed on Jabba with Slicker, so I tossed Slicker down here. And that was it. I said, well, the only thing I can do, I gotta take 3 up top, I gotta take 3 down bottom, and I hope he fails. And he did end up failing, but that's, you know, for a different video. But the big help here is, let's pretend I didn't, you know, have these teams on defense, right? When I'm planning the rest of my attacks, this is everything that's available to me, right? And let's pretend for a second that Slicker actually worked out, right? And I know, well, I don't really have anything to get through Array. Well, now I can see everything that I have for defense, right? So if I need to adjust my defense, and this is something that I do frequently, if I'm only going to go for one wall, I say, well, you know what? I don't need to keep Malgus available because I'm just trying to go top, and I can take top with these teams. So that means Malgus is free. So instead of trying to attack with Malgus, maybe I'll put him on defense. Oh, it's yelling at me because he's there twice. Take him off of attacking, and then you get to see all the teams that you have left for defense, right? And you can just go down this list and say, okay, I want Leia here, I want Rey here, I want JMK with Kron here. And so it helps you plan your defense as well, because you get to figure out your attacks first, see what you have left over for defense, put it on defense, etc., etc. So yeah, I hope this is intuitive. Again, I'm going to post a link to this document at the bottom of this, or in the description of this YouTube video, and you can just go get it and you can use it. And I hope this helps you. It helps me every single time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time.